you gonna backtrack? And you should've kept my name out your mouth. That's Vivo, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give me something you could talk about.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. How are you doing this fine Monday? Wow, I just never stop working, so I never know what day of the week it is. But happy Monday to you and your family. Shout out to the cousins in the chat. We are here less than, I think, about 12 hours later from my last Emmanuel Haro update. I know I'm saying his name wrong, but the Spanish-speaking cousins in the chat and the comments yesterday told me I was good, and it's fine. Okay, so thank you. One of these days, I'm going to finally learn Spanish. One of these days, I'm going to finally learn Spanish. You know, the thing about my Spanish accent is the words that I do know how to say, I can say them so good that people are like, oh, she's fluent. Like, my favorite place in the world, other than obviously the best country ever, United States of America, my two favorite other places are India and Mexico, and I don't even know in which order. So I've been to Mexico, obviously, a few times, and I know how to say about 5 things. And girl, I'm so good at saying those 5 things that people are just, they just start talking to me. They're like, oh yeah, Spanish speaking cousin, we got you, girl. You are obviously our cousin. Anyway, I say all that because there is some Spanish speaking, some Spanish words, some Spanish last names in particular, Spanish last names, content creators, no disrespect intended. We all cousins, y'all know it. Actually, my last name used to be Spanish, but then my, ancestors sided with like not France in some war, and then they had to pretend like they were somebody else, and that's how they ended up in Louisiana. They're basically traitors because they sided with Mexico in a war anyway. So loving Mexico, and you know, whatever it used to be named before somebody named it Mexico. It's a long tradition in my family, clearly. Anyway, okay, so what are we talking about? We're talking about Emmanuel Haro. Very sad story. Very sad story. This baby is missing. Is the baby 7 months old? Is the baby 9 months old? We do not know. It seems like they're saying, yes, rotten banana. This is exactly, I could, el baño. ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está, señor? I know how to say that. I actually can speak a lot more Spanish than y'all would think, but you know, I try to keep it humble. The French or whatever war it was. I mean, they all my cousins. The French are my cousins. The Spanish is my cousin. They're all my cousins. Germans, Irish. We're all at this point. Like, there's nothing. Pretty much nothing ain't my cousin. Somehow, some way, somebody, some way. I mean, I'm probably cousins with the. I'm probably in the Illuminati cousins. I'm definitely on the outskirts. They're not inviting me in, but you know, they probably my cousins. Probably got some alien cousins. I know I love Mexico. I've never been to Japan. Yesterday, his dad was out there in the Badlands. Yes, Ira. We did talk about this. Or is it Ira? We did talk about this yesterday on my live stream yesterday. I don't know if I'll start cutting these up into clips, into portions or not. Or if the live streams are just good for now. This is a breaking and developing story because, of course, the remains of the little baby have not been found yet, although he is presumed to be no longer among the living, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of different stories. There's a lot of different, yep, shout out to the Portuguese cousins in the chat. It's like, I mean, ain't no denying it. You can't help your family, y'all. Can't help who's your family, but you can help what your choices are, okay? While Starlight said, trying to learn Arabic, it is so hard. That language is so beautiful. Do I know any Arabic words? Do I know a single Arabic word? Is Habibi Arabic? If so, I know Habibi. I mean, I know like other like words that like you would use in like the, you know, Muslim religion. Blessed be his name and all, but I don't know if that's necessarily strictly speaking Arabic. I think that's like a lot of different languages talks about that religion. I'm like always careful to talk about it. Truly, I don't know a lot of people who are Muslim, so I'm trying to be respectful usually. Anyway, so shout out to the Belize cousins. I definitely got Belize cousins, no doubt. I hate having to wait. So I just wanted to get on here and just chit chat with y'all for a little while. I do want to get back into the Milagro transcripts. I know some of y'all are still here from that. I know some of y'all were like literally boycotting me while I'm covering that case, and I would invite you to look into it, y'all. If I'm covering something, it's because I think it's important. Maybe it would behoove you to know what's going on, but I will be getting back. Habibi is Arabic. Okay, thank you. I'm learning Sanskrit. I shouldn't say I'm learning. I'm going to start learning Sanskrit actually this weekend. So hopefully once I learn Sanskrit, I'll be able to reverse engineer down all the languages. Helen Bates, great question. Where is this baby? Where is this baby? And that is the question. That is the question. I have a few updates here. I have really been on like basically obsessing on Twitter, just like for some reason, and actually it's not even for some mysterious reason. It's a good reason. I know exactly what the reason is there are TikTokers and for lack of a better term, TikTokers on the scene, on the ground, right? On the case. And shout out to them. Truly, that is probably some extreme reporting conditions, just considering it's like as hot as the devil's butt crack over there right now. It is hot over there. It is like 100 degrees or more, and it's dry hot over there. And they're reporting, and there's like updates coming like basically by the minute on this Emmanuel Haro case from the people who are reporting. And then little by little, like the mainstream media news will start to trickle out. So one of the great things about like on the ground reporting is that we can get that information a lot faster. We saw this again in the Diddy case where the guy, what's his name, American hero Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, he's like tweeting, he's like live tweeting from in there. So you're gonna get stuff from him a lot faster. But if you wait a little bit longer, even in that case, then from the mainstream media, you will eventually get even more details and you can start to put this together. So that's a good thing. We get the information a lot faster. It might not always be filtered through these mainstream sanitization mouthpieces. But on the other hand, there's a little bit of I don't even know if you want to call it a con, but it's just kind of like one of those things, one hand washes the other, is that while we do get information out faster, it isn't always necessarily, and this can absolutely and would be unfair to not say about the mainstream media as well, but sometimes it could be not necessarily the most accurate. So last night we started getting a lot of excited reporting from the scene of it's called the Badlands, which just sounds ominous. It's like, this place out in California. It's mountainous. It looks very beautiful. But it's starting to kind of look like maybe they were on a search for the baby right around outside in the mountain area, around San Bernardino, California. This was, not Yucaipa, not Cabazon. There's like some other, Cabazon. I don't know how y'all say that. But there was a search and rescue mission yesterday. I did a live stream, and it was last night. I was tired and I was basically fighting off a migraine, but I wanted to get on here because I don't want to fall too far behind on this case. I want to stay up to speed on this case while the search mission is still going on. So I did jump on here. Now, there was also excited reports saying that the father, Jake Haro, had confessed. Come to find out, only some of that. And then excited reports last night were saying that the baby's, remains were found. Come to find out that was not true. The sources were mistaken. However, some aspects could have been true and just haven't been confirmed. This is an example I'll give. So for example, it was reported that what's his name? Jake Haro, the father of the baby, confessed to unaliving this baby or just confessed to something. That could be true. That could be true, because why else would it be that this father would be out with the police and the search and rescue team yesterday trying to find or trying to show where the remains of the baby may be? That being said, if we're playing debate team games and I were forced to take the devil's advocate position, I might say maybe he's pretending like old girl, what's her name? The mama. Maybe he's pretending, and all we can do is speculate. Just to be very clear, all I'm doing is speculating because we don't have the information. What information we were left with last night after the, during the live stream and after, we got off, what information from official sources that we were left with was that, yes, Jake Haro was out as, part of the searching. There were also dogs, cadaver dogs, which are specifically trained to sniff for, human remains, and locate them. But the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department did not confirm whether or not Jake had actually confessed anything, much less what he confessed to. So, as of this morning, Monday, August 25th at 10:42 a.m. Eastern Time, we haven't gotten official reports from the police that Jake confessed to anything. And I'm starting to wonder whether he's throwing the woman, the mother, Rebecca, under the bus. And I have some receipts here that I'm going to show y'all that are leading me to wonder whether or not he's doing that. Yes, Sarah said, I saw the father walking around with the police on the news. Not sure where the info regarding a confession came from. Right, right. And I don't exactly know. I don't exactly know either. Um, where that came from. All I know is that whenever I started to look online last night, there were several different reports. Jess said, yes, he is throwing her under the bus. So we do have some updates here I want to run through with y'all. Nothing is like particularly extremely breaking. However, I do just want to make sure that we cover, the bases I think are kind of important here. Let me pull up my screen. Okay. So this is just an article. This from last night. Is this?
Were seen searching an area near the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. And right alongside them was the baby's father, who was accused in the 7-month-old baby's murder.
So this is a little news clip.
From just a couple of hours ago.
That was from yesterday.
Springs Road out there, and you can see
Gilman Springs Road. There's Jake.
Cadaver dogs, though, also out there.
I don't see the dogs.
But deputies say he was not located there.
They didn't find him.
Baby's mother, Rebecca, were arrested at their Cabazon home Friday morning.
There's the arrest.
And these arrests came just over a week after the Haros reported the baby missing after Rebecca claimed that she was attacked while changing Emmanuel's.
So we've all heard the story by now. She claims that she was changing her baby's diaper outside of a sporting goods store. She heard someone come up behind her. Was it a man? Was it a woman? I do not know. Talking about wow, that's interesting, Sarah. There were some, I can't read y'all's things though. Because once I do while I'm live, I'm just like, I get so distracted. So that is interesting. Sarah, I do want to read your comment, so I will pin it. Authorities. Okay, so we all know the story by now. She claims she got somebody rolled up behind her talking about hola and then hit her in the back of the head or in the front of the head somehow. I was watching the behavior panel and they're like, or maybe it wasn't them, it was somebody else. It was some body language person from on there. And he was like, how you got a black eye on the front of your face when you claiming you got hit on the back of the head? Or if you did get hit in the front of the face, how you didn't see who hit you? You just didn't see who hit you? Maybe that is possible. I don't know. I'm not a crime scene reconstructor or anything like that. But essentially pretty much about a week ago, maybe almost a week and a half at this point, the mother, it was August. Yeah. What was it? It would have been 9 days ago now. No. 11 days. It's been 11 days. It was August 14th. The mother ends up reporting that the baby was, again, supposedly kidnapped. Now, this is where a bunch of different stories start to try to compete with each other. Was it, was there a camera? Did she ask? Did she run inside and ask if there was a camera? She ran inside and asked, did you see a baby? She said when she came to. Now, there was a lot of nitpicking about her language that she used. She said she came to on the floor and he was in a chair, and that has led some people to believe she was talking about something happening inside. Maybe y'all are right, but for me, she does appear to have perhaps like some type of English as not a first language accent. So I'm not going to put too much stock in her saying the word floor versus ground, but that black eye, it seems like it might be like on the more of like the healing end of things, not like I just got this black eye. Like, I don't know if you've ever gotten like, I don't know, like hit, like did a sport, hit in the face with something, playing game, whatever. Like if you have injury around your eye, even if it's not a getting punched in the eye, black eye, like even if a little, like a wasp or a mosquito or something stings you or bites you, it's you are swole up. So for the most part, at least for a day or two. So if she had just gotten punched, I would expect the eye to be swole shut. It's not. And there's just a lot of questions outstanding before even anything ever happened with them being charged or them being arrested or them being even treated as suspects. And now everything they say just makes more questions come up. Like, here's more things of the story. One news station said there was biological evidence in the house incompatible with life for a child. Why would somebody say hola and then attack? I mean, I just seriously. Pauline said over a week old, that bruise. I mean, so then some more stuff started coming out. Ava is saying this is just sickening. CPS has failed these babies. And I think one of the reasons, correct me if I'm wrong, Ava, one of the reasons Ava's saying this is because this is a household and a family with a very long, seemingly documented history of domestic violence, people becoming unalive at untimely times. There. Okay, Starlight said yes. Yes, bruises have various stages of healing, and that bruise was not recent. Yeah, because he's hurt other. That's what they're saying. And I do have a report here I want to read over. Interesting. Waffles Biscuit said significant amount of blood found in the house on carpet. No baby clothes and no baby pictures found in the house. So this is, and I did DM Rabbit on Down the Rabbit Hole News on Instagram, and I asked her about this. She is about a week longer into this case than I am. She's a little bit more up to speed with all of this stuff. And Rabbit had her on live. Great. So I was talking to her this morning and she brought up a good point. She said, wait, who called the cops in the very first instance? Like, let's rewind all the way back to August 14th. And it's a question I don't have the answer to. And does anybody else have the answer to? And Illuminated Wisdom is like, it's almost like they attempted to delete his existence in the home. But this would be my question. Yeah, it is sick, Alexis. This would be my question. Okay. Maybe this baby has been no longer among the living for quite some time. And God rest his soul and all that. Even without speculating as to how, that occurred or if it was anyone's faults or anything like that, like even without even questioning any of that, there's no, apparently, and these are reports, right? I didn't go inside the house, so I don't know. Okay. I just to be really clear, if anybody thought I was allowed access inside the crime scene, I wasn't. Okay. So I don't know anything more than y'all, but I'm just kind of looking at different sources. Again, some more or less credible than others. I just like to look at everything and put it all together, but as best that I can. And Bella Smith's Bella, cute puppy, is saying the same thing. I think he wanted the baby to disappear and hope that no one would bring him up. They didn't care about that baby, so they thought others didn't care either. They were wrong, and we're all here for baby Emmanuel. Exactly. So here's the thing. It does kind of seem like maybe they were just trying to erase all evidence that the baby ever existed. I'm also seeing people say they can't find a birth certificate on this baby. Also, maybe that's a little weird in 2025, but people out in the country have babies and don't get birth certificates like, right away within the first, it's the first 2 years or so. Once a baby's time to go to school, maybe they'll get one. I mean, that's not how we did it. I got my birth certificate when I was born or whatever, but like, I don't know, that in and of itself, again, like, could it be weird? Could it be something suspicious? Maybe, but there's like a lot of other suspicious stuff that I think I would rather like be like, okay, no, that is really suspicious. That information regarding biological evidence was from Hidden True Crime. Okay, yeah. Any links y'all get, and this goes for when I'm live. Also, this goes for when I'm not live. You can send to ThatSurpriseWitness@gmail.com. If you think somebody's doing good work, I would love to see the work that other people are doing. Like I said, I just started studying, looking into this case just a few days ago. So I'm kind of new on it. But yeah, in UK, and the girl, this is what, listen, shout out to the UK cousins. I'm so sorry y'all got to live over there like that. And listen, we got problems over here too. Don't get me wrong. But I think in the UK they also like tell you what you can name your baby and stuff too, right? Or is that just like Scandinavian countries? Maybe I got that wrong. They're my cousins too. Um, but anyway, so this is where I am at with the whole did they try to hide the baby from existence and hope that nobody would find out? No, I don't think that. I don't think that. Because why on earth would this mom then report the baby? Oh, somebody kidnapped the baby. Then why didn't they just shut up and never say nothing about it? It's their fault. It's their fault. She's the one who said the baby was kidnapped. She just said nothing's wrong with that baby. He's at my house or whatever. But she didn't say that. So again, this brings up in my mind, is there perhaps some trouble in paradise between Jake and Rebecca Haro? Now, she is much older than him. She's like in her 40s. She's like 41 and he's like 32. So she's like 9 years older than him, which, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily something bad or wrong, but it does kind of make it harder to argue he was in complete and total control of the relationship in this situation when she has 10 whole years, 9 whole years life experience on him. She's 9 years old. She's in 6th grade, fifth grade when he was born. So it's like maybe he was. I mean, that black eye came from somewhere, girl, but where? But where? So again, is it very difficult? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Shout out to the Guatemala cousins in the chat. Birth certificate is new info for me. My son was born in Guatemala and he has had one from there and then another from here. Interesting. So why go through all the trouble? That's my question, right? So we're talking about outstanding questions. This is an ongoing case and developing story. Why does she have a black eye? That's the first question I have on my list. Then me and Rabbit were talking this morning. I said, wait, hold on. Who actually called the cops? Where's the 911 call? Where's the 911 call? Who called the cops and why haven't we heard it? We've seen body camera footage from the scene of them getting arrested. We've seen photographs of the house. We've seen drone footage of the house of them, doing a search and rescue. We've seen them or searched a search. They also they showed video from the search on the side of the mountain yesterday, the Badlands. So I want to know who called the cops in the first instance and where is the 911 call? I want to know where is the original actual police report? Because we have looked. Where's the 911 call? Tatum said, where is that call? Loompa said, exactly. Stephanie said, I think that baby been gone since before August 14th. They keep saying he's 7 months when he was born in November. So has he really been missing since he was 7 months and now he's 9 months? They did say she called the cops. Crystal said, I think they said she called the cops. It did kind of seem like that. But look, let me show you when you actually go to the, I'll go to the San Bernardino Sheriff's Twitter. They have been. Andy complaining about the old Cracker Barrel logo. Okay. So we're on their Twitter. I'm going to try to go back to August 14th and see what they said at first. Now, before we do that, let's read the most recent tweet. And we did read this on my live last night, so you would have already heard this, but it's not too long. It says, it was from August 24th, 2025. This afternoon, a search for Emmanuel Haro was conducted along the westbound shoulder of the 60 freeway near Gilman Springs Road in Moreno Valley. Investigators were assisted by cadaver dogs. Jake Haro was at the location with detectives. Search has concluded. So you see, they don't say, oh, he confessed. He was helping. It just says he was there. It just says he was at the location. It doesn't say what he was doing there. The search has concluded and Emmanuel was not located. The investigation to find him continues. So I'm going to go back to August 14th and see if I can find when they first posted about it. And did they say, And it's August 15th, August 15th, August 15th, August 14th. So they didn't even post about it on the 14th on their Twitter. This was the first post. It says, on August 14th, 7:47 p.m., deputies from the Yucaipa station responded to the 3400 block of Yucaipa Boulevard regarding a reported missing 7-month-old boy. This is an active investigation, and we are seeking the public's help in locating the child. He was last seen wearing a black Nike onesie. He weighs about 21 pounds, 24 inches tall, brown hair, brown eyes, and is cross-eyed. If you have any information, call the sheriff. So then they put out this, so that was just a photo. Then they put out this, no, there was like a report they put out. Hold on. So this was a picture from about Friday. Okay. So here's the summary. Again, on Thursday, deputies were dispatched to a retail business after Rebecca Haro reported right? So she reported that while she stood outside her vehicle changing her child's diaper, she was physically assaulted by an unknown male. So it was a male, she claims. And she became unconscious. When she woke up, her 7-month-old infant was gone. Deputies and canines from San Bernardino and Riverside counties responded and began an extensive search. Emmanuel was not located. Based on the circumstances, Sheriff's Specialized Investigations Division responded and assisted with the investigation. Investigators interviewed multiple individuals, including the parents. During those interviews, Rebecca was confronted with inconsistencies in her initial statement. But see how it doesn't actually say, like, this does appear to imply that Rebecca is the one that called the cops. But Rebecca on the news said she ran inside the Big Five and said, "Have you seen a baby?" Or a person with a baby. So, all of these things that I've discussed here so far, or a lot of these things, they kind of like push and pull on both sides of the scale. See my scale back there? They push and pull on both sides. On the one side, maybe this guy, because he has this criminal past, pleading guilty to child cruelty or no contest or whatever it was. We're going to read that report in a moment, so don't take my word for it. You'll see what we're going to read there. And this is the craziest part about it, Ava. I cannot believe they just tried to play in our faces like that. No one was thinking it was them until they started acting crazy on camera. Exactly. The report doesn't say who called. Has anyone requested the police calls yet? Well, I would like someone to do that. If that hasn't happened yet, let me see if I can get some investigation team on it real quick. Hold on a second. Hold on, I'm making a request real quick. Okay, so if anybody Okay, she's gonna do it. Okay, I got somebody working on the project. Okay, thank you. Shout out to Monica. Monica's gonna do it for me. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna see if they'll release that 911 call. We're gonna see if they'll release the police report, and we will see if they are going to release, if they will release the body camera footage from that August 14th incident only. Okay, so there were questions around why would she leave the area of the car, go outside to a call. She had a cell phone because the husband called eventually, but she didn't contact him. I'm guessing they are not going to release the 911 call to the public during the investigation. Could be. I don't really know. I do know Loompa TV is searching as well. I do know California, at least in LA and Orange County, they're a little finicky about giving public records. So that area is considered Riverside County. So I want to pull some other stuff up because as we've discussed, it's kind of hard to tell. Did both of these parents do something to this baby? Did one of the parents do something and the other one is covering it up for the other one? I guess it's possible nobody did anything. They are supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. And I'm not going to be the one dogpiling out here acting like I know for sure something happened when I don't know. Right. I know it was it Tira? He on the Tira said that he confessed. He did say that. Um, yeah, no telling what happened if the baby's been missing for, that long. Um, okay. So let me pull up this. And I do apologize. I like to give credit where it is due, but I was just on like a manic screenshot spree last night, and I do not remember the Twitter account that had originally put this up, and I do apologize for that. I know that's annoying when you go out of your way to get a document and then somebody don't give you credit. I do apologize. If you are in the chat or if you know who did request this and put it up, please do give them credit, and I'll pin the comment as well in comments. Take from me, I know it is aggravating when people use your work, okay? And a lot of times you have to pay to get these documents, but I do think this is in the public interest, so I do want to share it with y'all. And also, you see how they spell Mitchell up here? And I'm not saying that there's necessarily anything untoward with it, but I have seen this Mitchell spelled different ways. So I don't know if his actual first name is Jake, if it's Mitchell, if it's Michelle, or what, but he's going by Jake Haro right now. So you may have heard this already. You may not have heard, but this Jake Haro has a very serious past incident that has occurred with a child under his care. And it was just a few years ago, maybe 6 years ago. The child at the time, I believe, was just a few weeks old. And the child, you'll see as we're going to read verbatim from this report. The child was taken to a hospital and had all kinds of injuries. She was a baby, like not even 3 months old, like couldn't even really, like, I don't know how old you are when you can roll over, but I don't think you can roll over even at 3 months old. So, yeah, let's read together what happened. Again, this is a public document. I'm not going to be, adding anything extreme, but this is real. And this is what happened as a public document. So I am going to be reading it. If you don't want to hear it, maybe come back in a few minutes when I'm done reading it. But it says, Jake said that on October 12th, 2018, after Vanessa, who's Vanessa? You might be wondering. That's his ex. He has several kids, 5 or 6 kids. I've seen different things reported. So, one of his kids just got took from inside his house. It's a 2-year-old, and one of them's missing, Emmanuel, presumed to be no longer with the living. And then this is another one. So like half his kids have been, involved in these CPS disputes. There's another kid, I think, a whole separate child whose mother is trying to limit now Jake getting visitation, but I don't know if that's the same 2-year-old or a different child. I do not know, because again, there have been conflicting reports, whether he has 5 kids, whether he has 6 kids. I don't know all their names, stuff like that. But this is a report from a very serious incident that happened under Jake's care. And this is a declaration in support of an arrest warrant. Jake said that October 12th, 2018, after Vanessa, his ex, but is like, I guess his girlfriend or his wife or whatever at the time, dropped him off at home. He took the baby's temperature and saw that it was 99 to 100 degrees. Jake gave the baby Tylenol. Again, this is not Emmanuel. This is years ago. This is 2018. Emmanuel wasn't even thought of. He wasn't even born yet. He was with a different lady back then. Jake gave the baby Tylenol and decided to bathe her in the kitchen sink. While holding the baby to let the water rinse off of her, she, quote, slipped out of his hands and fell into the sink. Jake said the left side of her chest hit the center divider of the sink. Jake immediately picked the baby up and did not notice any signs of injury. Jake said Vanessa returned home about 40 minutes after she dropped Jake off. So Vanessa dropped Jake off. All of a sudden, the baby has temperature and the baby needs a bath right away. and then he drops the baby gets dropped, and then the mom shows back up. Jake told Vanessa, his girlfriend or wife or whatever at the time, that he dropped the baby on the sink. Jake said he went to bed around 21 to 2200 hours, what's like 9 or 10 o'clock or something like that. Jake was awakened by Vanessa early in the morning hours and told Jake something is wrong with the baby. Vanessa told Jake to feel the baby's back. Jake said he immediately felt something crackle and not right with the victim's back. Jake said the baby was crying, but it was not her normal cry. It was different, but he couldn't explain how. I informed Jake, this is the police, that he had previously mentioned that he felt cracking on the victim's back. And Jake said, yeah, that was very noticeable. And then the police is like, I asked Jake if he felt that crackling when he bathed or put lotion on the baby or after she fell. And he said, no, I didn't feel that. No. So Jake and Vanessa are the only adults in the home and are the only caretakers of the baby. Vanessa, the other adult, told me she would not talk to me without her attorney present, and she refused to answer any questions, which is loud. That's allowed. That is allowed. Now, does it look good? Does it make you look like mom of the year that you're not trying to help cops investigate what went on with your child without your attorney there? No, it don't look good. But I've also seen kids just climb in a tree and they fall and they get hurt or something. And then CPS acts like they can take your kid away and they were just doing a normal kid thing. Like, that's not abuse. So I could see saying, I'm not answering shit until my lawyer gets here. I don't actually think there's anything wrong with that. Now, putting it on top of okay, there's a kid missing. It's urgent. There's of course, every situation is different. But just from a legal perspective, you do not have to answer questions ever to the police. You just don't. Especially if you're going to be the prime suspect of hurting this child. Now, if you know for a fact you hurt that child and you just, I don't want to talk to you till my lawyer gets here. I mean, you're probably a bad person. You're probably going to hell, but you're allowed to do that. Okay. So then this police report from 2018, it goes on. And I'm reading this to you just so you can have an idea of the background, but there's something that happens at the end that really gives me a huge clue as to what I think could be going on with yesterday's little search party. The cop goes, again, this is from 2018. I arrived at Hemet Valley Hospital. I contacted Dr. Elliott. Dr. Elliott stated that the victim, the baby, appeared to have multiple healing rib fractures as well as acute fractures. I was also other fractures, rib fractures and other serious fractures, healing fractures and busted up ribs, but there's also going to be other fracture, I think. I was also informed that the baby had been transported to Loma Linda University Medical Center. I responded to Loma Linda. So he goes over there, the cop goes over there and was informed that the baby had been intubated and was in critical condition. The baby was about to die. The baby was about to unalive. After several hours and undergoing multiple tests, forensic pediatrician Dr. Daly provided me with an update on the baby. And this is the following. So look, all these bullet points. Acute fracture of the posterior left fifth rib. So like a serious fracture on the back rib, I guess on the left side and the back. Healing fractures of the posterior lateral left 6th and 7th ribs, as well as the posterior left 10th through 12th. So all these babies' ribs are just busted up. Healing fractures of the right posterolateral 6th rib. I'm reading these medical words because I know some of y'all are nurses and doctors and stuff. Y'all actually know what this means. As well as the posterior 9th through 12th ribs. Also, a skull fracture, everybody. Do you know how hard it is to fracture a baby's skull? They're not even bones yet. I'm not kidding. Look it up. It's not even a real bone. It's not like a calcified hard bone yet. It's very hard to break a skull of an infant. It's actually very difficult. You have to have a lot of force. I'm going to see if the internet knows. There's not a specific number in pounds of pressure. Okay. Infant skull fracture risk. Okay, so I found this study, like a scientific study, so y'all don't have to take my word for it. But this is, a little investigation moment. So let's take a break from that. And I want to show y'all this just to supplement. They're not fused. Well, they are bones, but they're not fused, right? Um and the ribs too. Skull. So this is what is this? Springer.com. I wonder if this is the one that Lou Taylor is involved in. Skull fractures are common. What's the title? Infant skull fractures risk for low height falls. So this is probably because a lot of people probably do this, right? How many of these woo body cams have y'all seen? How many have y'all seen where it's like, oh, I just dropped the baby? And it's like, no, ma'am. The baby has 3 skull fractures and 14 broke ribs. This is not just you dropped the baby on, you tripped on a truck. That's not what happened. That's that's not happened. So they probably hear this crap all the time. They need some science to say, okay, well, what do you actually have to do to break a baby's skull from dropping him or her? And look, this is the same year. Literally a month before that police report, like affidavit thing we were just now reading. I don't think it's a police report. It was like a declaration. A month before that, this study came out. Skull fractures are common injuries in young children, typically caused by accidental falls and child abuse. The paucity of detailed biomechanical data from real-world trauma in children has hampered development of biomechanical thresholds for skull fracture in infants. The objectives of this study were to identify biomechanical metrics to predict skull fracture, determine threshold values associated with fracture, develop skull fracture risk curves for low height falls. 4 biomechanical candidates for predicting skull fracture were identified. Among the predictor candidates, first principal stress strain correlated best with the occurrence of parietal risk curves in the predictor, result of parietal skull fracture, particularly carpet impact. So this house had a carpet, right? Okay, so again, we're talking not about Emmanuel, we're talking about Emmanuel's sister. At least half sister, which I don't do that half sister, whole sister thing. Like a sister is a sister, you got a parent together, that's your sister, that's your brother. So occipital impacts from concrete. Okay, so not surprisingly, the higher the fall, the more the risk of a fracture, and the harder the surface, the more the risk. You hitting them on concrete, it's going to be worse. You hitting them on a carpet, it's going to be not as likely to fracture. Reese said, I rolled off the bed when I was 3 months and I broke 8 ribs. Oh my God. And this does happen. I remember my little sister, she was very, 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 very little. I mean, I don't even know if she was a month old. She was just so little. And she was rolling. She rolled off the couch and hit her head on the maybe she was a few months old, but she rolled off the couch and hit her head on the we had like a stone whatever thing in front of the fireplace. Like there's like stone right there. You have a fireplace like stone, like granite or whatever, and she just hit her head and it was just devastating. And truly no one did anything. I watched it happen. She rolled off. It was shocking. I mean, I was probably like 8 years old, but like it does happen. It does happen. And that sucks. I mean, oh my God, I've definitely broken ribs before, but I don't think I broke them when I was little. You know what happened to me when I was little? They would be like roughhousing with me, like spinning me around, like, and I would like it, spin, wee, and my arms would they would dislocate. So that's like, I got that injury all the time, but I was rough. Like I was rough. I was a wide open. I was a free range kid. I was feral, but also like, I thought I was a princess. I'd be out there in my Barbie Jeep in the mud. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. They allowed other children to be in the home after this. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes. Thank you for that $4.99, Ava. So let me bring up. Yeah, they're like literally designed to bounce off stuff. To actually cause damage is more than an oopsie. Sometimes it is. Apparently, I rolled off a bed, Brittany said, onto a floor vent. Yep. And I was fine, and I turned out relatively fine. I mean, we'll never know. Sometimes. Yeah, see, we all have these stories, we do all have these stories, where there really are accidents. And I think actually part of being a good parent is letting your kids be in like slightly dangerous situations where they're climbing trees or they're playing monkey bars or they're doing, whatever, cheerleading, whatever, football, like maybe not full on football as kids. That's a whole nother brain issue. But like, I think, a little bit of like calculated risk is good parenting, but like, I don't think that this is what we are looking at on this report. Okay. These are the injuries that baby had. Significant. Brain hemorrhage. Brain hemorrhage. A skull fracture and a brain hemorrhage. This is like shaken baby syndrome, sounding like type of like symptoms. Significant prevertebral soft tissue swelling of the neck. So here or prevertebral soft tissue. So like, and I don't know exactly where that is, but like swelling in the neck, brain hemorrhage, broken ribs. Like, look, fracture, a huge fracture on that rib, the 6th and 7th and the 10th, 11th and 12th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs broke. And then healing on the 6th, another break on that 6th, and then the 9th and the 10th and 11th and 12th. So like, I mean, all the ribs. How are they numbered? The one is at the top, or is that one at the bottom? Just like medically, is it one is the ones that are up here, like this, the first rib? Because it would be real hard to break that. But those ones at the bottom are just kind of floating there. They seem like the easier ones to break. I did take anatomy one time, but I mean, girl, that was probably 15 years ago. I'm starting to feel my age. Like even law school, I graduated law school like 5 years ago. That seems like a long time ago. Like 2008 is when I graduated high school. Like, girl, we are getting close to 20-year reunion territory. Anyway, I'm trying to add in a little levity here too, because it's just such a dark subject. Okay, so significant tissue swelling of the neck and a healing tibia fracture on the right leg. That's that lower leg bone, I think. You know how you have like the top one is called the femur, and then the tibia and the fibula or something down there. Dr. Daly informed me that the baby suffered at least 2 seizures. Seizures. This is probably from the freaking brain bleeding. And stated, wow, this is crazy, y'all. The doctor informed the detective that the baby, the 10-week-old baby, had 2 seizures, at least, and stated that the baby's condition could have been fatal if medical attention wasn't sought. These injuries would have been very painful and caused the child to have difficulty breathing and be irritable and cry. So 2 months later, December 2018, or maybe just about a month and a half later, like about 2 months later, the Children's Hospital forensic pediatrician, that same guy, Dr. Daly, or woman, I don't know, he or she, completed the suspected child abuse and neglect examination. Okay, so there's an examination for this. They did do one. In her report, so it's a she doctor. In her report, the doctor stated the following opinion. Okay, this was the doctor's opinion from Emmanuel Haro's sibling, his sister. Just 5 years ago? No, 7 years ago. This is the doctor's opinion, quote, V1, that's the victim, the baby, quote, had findings of intracranial hemorrhage, brain injury, cervical spine injury, and retinal hemorrhages. That's like in her eyeballs. Accompanied with lethargy and seizures. This is consistent with acceleration, deceleration forces. Shaking. Do I have something? I want to shake my... Right, like, okay, we'll use the dry shampoo, girl. Like when you shake it this way, the dry shampoo goes here, and when you shake it that way, it all rushes down over there. Now imagine doing that to somebody's head over and over, and it's a baby. And, hold that baby's head. Everybody ever heard hold that baby's head? It's because you could hurt the baby. You got to hold their head up because they can't even, their heads are heavy and big. They're like little baby aliens. They can't even hold their head up at first. I doubt this baby ever was able to hold up her head before getting abused. I'm not saying that's not a quote from the doctor. These are opinions. Let's get back to the quote from the doctor. Accompanied with lethargy and seizures, these are consistent with acceleration, deceleration forces of the head with traumatic stress on the neck. The skull fracture is consistent with impact to the head Multiple rib fractures are typically caused by a squeezing mechanism of the chest. The healing oblique tibial fracture, the leg bone, below the knee leg bone, likely secondary to a traumatic twisting mechanism. That baby's leg was twisted till it broke, says the doctor. The doctor further stated, quote, the combination of the above findings in a pre-mobile infant, meaning it can't crawl around or move itself or herself, just any infant, he or she, them, their self, but this particular one was a she. The doctor said, quote, the combination of the above findings in a pre-mobile infant in the absence of a plausible history of significant trauma to explain the injuries is indicative of abuse, head trauma, child physical abuse, and, to make matters worse, nutritional neglect. So not only are they beating this baby, abusing it, her, but also nutritional, like starving, malnourishment. The history of a short fall onto the kitchen sink, the doctor says, does not explain her extensive and severe head trauma, nor her multiple bilateral rib fractures. The cop said, Jake told me he went home after being at the hospital. Jake's sister grabbed his iPad. Okay, so Jake said he went home after visiting the hospital. So he went to see his baby in the hospital. Jake, this is Emmanuel Haro's dad. The one that's with the cops yesterday looking for the body of Emmanuel Haro. So this is a report. This is something that happened to his sister when she was 10 weeks old. Have you ever held a 10-week-old baby? It's not even 3 months old. Like that's really little, like 20 pounds. Like some people's cats is that big. Like, so Jake, the dad, told this cop back in 2018 that he went home after being at the hospital. But Jake's sister had grabbed his iPad and opened the internet browser. Jake told me the active browser page that opened was a search of how to feed a baby with broken ribs. So he had an iPad. He's at the hospital. And his sister grabbed his iPad and opened the internet browser. And the active browser at the time was a search of how to feed a baby with broken ribs. So Jake, look at the next sentence. Look what Jake does. Look what kind of person Jake is. Look what kind of person Jake is. Jake said Vanessa, his own baby mama, had access to the iPad. Now, I don't know if Vanessa, I may have said this earlier. I just want to be very clear. I don't know if Vanessa is the same, is the mother of this harmed child. It seems like Jake has been with a few women and had children with all of them. So I think he has children with 3 different women. I don't know whose kid is whose, okay? Whose child is whose. But Jake had on his iPad, again, how many eWoo body cams you need to watch of somebody searching, what happens to baby with skull fracture? I mean, I've seen one. I think I saw one. It was literally this morning. I saw one from several months ago where it was a lady, she was babysitting. I shouldn't even call her a lady. This woman babysitting. And when she was babysitting, something happened to this baby. She was babysitting and had serious head trauma, 2 skull fractures. And the woman's like, I fell. I tripped. No, that's not what happened. Oh, well, maybe I left her alone in the room with somebody else. Like knowing full well what happened, knowing you did it, starts throwing other people under the bus. Now, I don't know if that's what happened. I wasn't there. I'm just reading this. I just found this. I saw this on Twitter today. But it says Jake told the cop he went home. His sister got his iPad and his sister probably confronted him like, dude, why were you looking up how to feed a baby with broken ribs? Jake said Vanessa, his girlfriend, had access to the iPad and has the iCloud account of Vanessa Jake Haro. So it's both of them. Vanessa Jake. So who's it for? A search of the iPad revealed the following Safari search, timestamped on October 13th, 2018. Okay, so when was the first incident? October 12th. The next day. So that very day they went to the hospital, it looks like, or maybe the one day after, Quote, he searched, quote, and this is 2 in the morning, 1:20 in the morning. Quote, is it hard to feed an infant with fractured ribs? This was prior to the hospital visit. On November 7th, so about a month after the incident occurred where she went to the hospital, they went to the hospital, the cop said he spoke with Jake. Jake, the dad, informed him he did not use his iPad that day that search was made. Now look at what kind of person, look at what kind of man Jake Mitchell Haro is. Jake informed me, meaning the cop, he doesn't take his iPad to work. I asked Jake if Vanessa caused the injuries to the baby, and Jake stated, at this point, yes. It was Vanessa. So I want to know, has Vanessa had another child in her care that this happened to? Because Jake has, or something happened to anyway. Jake also informed me he does not take the iPad to work. I asked if Vanessa could have caused these injuries, and Jake said at this point, yes. Then like months and months later, like 8 months later after the incident, this is June 2019. So this is only like 6 years ago. Jake voluntarily came in to speak with me. Look at what kind of man Jake Mitchell Haro is, everybody. Jake said, quote, so now, I mean, I'm sure they're like on the fall, they've fallen out. They're no longer trying to cover up for each other. Quote, Jake just voluntarily comes into the police station and says, if you ask me, if you ask me, do you see her doing this? 8 months ago, I would have said, no way. Jake said, 8 months ago, I would have told you, no way. I don't see her doing this. But if you ask me now, Jake said, quote, it had to have been her. Jake was referring to his wife, Vanessa. Jake and Vanessa willfully caused or permitted the victim to suffer unjustifiable physical pain. The cop requested that some charges be filed against them both. So this gives you a little insight into Mr. Jake Mitchell. Now, there's another page I do want to get to. But before we even get to that second page, and it's not much. I think it's pretty much it. Jake is not the same as Emmanuel. Jake is Emmanuel's father. So this, what we are looking at for the people who are just joining, is a police declaration in support of an arrest warrant. Now, this is a different spelling of Mitchell. I do want to point that out. But this baby was brought in with multiple fractured ribs, some of them at different stages of healing. There was a skull fracture. There was a brain hemorrhage. There was swelling in the soft tissue of the neck. And there was a leg fracture, a 10-week-old baby who cannot crawl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 ribs are broken. And one of them was broken in 2 spots. 7 ribs. I don't even know how many you got. You got 12. Like more than half the ribs are broken. One of the legs is broken. Skull fracture. Brain bleeding. I think that's what a hemorrhage is. So this happened already to a child under Jake's care. He was the one who bathed that baby. And why would he say he dropped the baby and it hit its chest, her chest on the sink? Down here, 8 months later after the incident, he's snitching on his wife. All right. So now take that together with what we saw yesterday. What did we see yesterday? Was nothing other than Jake out there pittering around with the cops in the mountains in the Badlands. Couldn't find nothing. But what did we hear Rebecca saying yesterday? Oh, he was kidnapped. The baby was kidnapped. I won't sleep till I get justice for the baby. Maybe she knows something. Maybe she don't. But it kind of looks to me like maybe Jake didn't confess. Maybe Jake threw Rebecca under the bus just like he threw Vanessa under the bus 6 years ago, when a very similar thing happened. 1 month after the incident, Jake said he didn't use that iPad that searched, how do you feed a baby with broken ribs? Is it hard to feed an infant with a fractured rib? Jake also informed me he does not take the iPad to work. I asked Jake if Vanessa caused these injuries, and he said at this point, yes. 6-8 months later, Jake volunteers to come into the police station, just voluntarily. Hey, if you asked me 8 months ago, I would have said, nah, I couldn't see her doing this. But you know, asked me today, she did it. She did it. It was her. It was definitely her. Could it be that's what he was pitter-pattering around yesterday doing? Thank you so much. Impeccable Beauty for the $1.99. Thanks so much, Sour Girl, for the $1.99 super chats. Poor little guy didn't have a chance. It's very sad. It's very sad. I hope he's, in peace with the good Lord, honestly. Because he is presumed to be no longer among the living. Thank you so much, Sean Davis. Shout out to you for 10 Surprise Witness memberships. If y'all got a membership from Sean Davis, y'all better say thank you. Okay, let's go to the next page of this report. There, like I said, there's really not that much left, but it does continue on. Oh, that's it. Yeah, no, so y'all did see the last of it, but I do want to pull it up. Because this is how it was presented on Twitter. I don't know how to make it like, is it this? There we go. Yeah, Jake told me he went home after being at the hospital on his iPad. Internet browser, active browser open was how to feed a baby with broken ribs. That was the open browser. Vanessa had access to the iPad. It was her. It was all Vanessa. But like, it kind of looks like he's trying to escape accountability for what happened to this previous child of his, to Emmanuel Haro's sibling, to his sister. We do have the mug shots. I think we may have already looked at those, but let me just show you again. If you're just starting to follow the story, you should know exactly what these alleged monsters look like. I don't know if it's true. Maybe they're all just innocent, girl. Maybe they're innocent, but that's him right there. That's him right there. What would you call this? Like a permanent frown, like someone who's scowling all the time. Your muscles get stuck like that. There we go. And then this lady, I mean, honestly, like the first thing, it's just hard not to notice. The first thing that you notice is this black eye. Again, it does not look fresh. It does not look new. It looks like it's actually, speaking of injuries that are healing. Now again, this guy was out here yesterday helping search. She wasn't. You know what she was doing yesterday? Saying she won't stop till she finds her baby. It got kidnapped. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Now let me pull this up. There's a Newsweek article from this morning. Father arrested on suspicion of murder. Hold on. I can't do nothing on this computer without an ad assaulting me. The father of a missing 7-month-old boy was arrested. So this was updated this morning. That's the reason I'm reading it. Helping investigate. So he was seen yesterday helping investigators search for the child's body in a remote field in California. The local news posted video footage showing Jake in an orange prison jumpsuit with sheriff's deputies and cadaver dogs in an area off the 60 freeway. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirmed that Haro was with the detectives during a search for the child's body, but the child was not located. See, he's 32, she's 41. So she's like 9 years older than him. Soed Freak said, I bet he told her to stick to the story, not realizing he's got an ace up his sleeve. Resting batch face. It's something else, y'all. They need to ask Rebecca, where's the baby? And I don't know what's exactly, been said to the police and stuff like that. Now, Rebecca, she had some type of booking with the police. Is her middle name Marie? Some type of infraction back in last year, 2024. But then we also had a lot of other stuff. Let me pull up Twitter because there's just all kind of stuff. I mean, we really, y'all, we need to get the true crime people. Shout out to the true crime people. Y'all are the ones who really know how to freaking investigate. Can we get some of y'all into the Tory Lanez case? Because I mean, look, listen, the Tory Lanez people are very good at investigating. Okay. The umbrellas are very good at investigating, but truly, these true crime people pull up stuff. They will go on the scene. Okay. Like, and I don't encourage anyone to do that, by the way. I don't go on scene usually unless it's like a court hearing. Or something like that. I did go to Butler, Pennsylvania one time. It's very rare. I don't encourage people to go to scene. I don't encourage people to do that. But I'm just saying, like, can we get some of the true crime mindset into the Hollywood web of things? I would really love that. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Impeccable. Okay, impeccable. Beauty. Have you seen Rebecca before and after Jake? No. Where would I find that? Thanks so much to Tatum for the $4.99. Okay, I got feedback on how to gift membership, but I can't find only super chat or if you're on iPhone, Tatum, thank you for the $4.99. If you're on iPhone, you might have to do log into like desktop or whatever. I think it's like something about the app something with the app or something, I think, on iPhone. Thank you for the $4.99. Where can I find that? No, I don't watch him, Joy. I kind of don't get great vibes from him, but like I don't have any really good like reasons, so I'll keep those to myself. Okay, so what am I looking for? Oh yes, I want to go to Twitter. I want to just look like Emmanuel Haro. Also, the baby that we just read about, she did end up making it, and she is now still in someone else's custody. You know, like this guy, he never got her back. I'm on Twitter here. Yes, I did see that DJ Academics thing. I do want to do a little commentary on that as well. But I'm kind of thinking this guy is turning. I think he's blaming her. Okay, so this is August 25th, 11:39 a.m. Eastern time. I believe he knows what happened. I believe he may have even had something to do with it. I believe those two things. I think he knows what happened, and I think he may have had something to do with it. Now what does that mean? He could just know what happened and help do one little thing. That also could mean maybe he did the whole thing. What is the whole thing? Well, we don't really know, but he did get arrested for murder charge. Okay. So we already knew that. What is he doing out here searching the Badlands when his wife or his whatever, or if they're married, whatever, the mom of the missing child is in jail, giving jailhouse interviews saying the baby was kidnapped. Like it don't add up. And it looks to me like he's throwing her right under the bus. Where's she? She's not out here looking. Or, there's the other option. There's another option. Something's wrong with her. There's just no way. Like who rolled up behind her and said "Ola" and hit her in the head? And where's those camera angles and, things like that? Look at this title. Riverside, California. They report the kidnapping of their baby, and now they are suspects in his murder. Little Emmanuel Haro was seen a week ago outside. That seems like a bot. TMZ is now on the beat. Emmanuel Haro's dad seen helping police search for son. So that's the major story this morning. Yeah, Phil Holloway. Yeah, Phil Holloway's like, it looks like Jake Haro is cooperating or pretending to cooperate with law enforcement. Now, there was another girl. Let me get a little bit earlier. What's this? Okay, we've already seen that. There was some stuff earlier I want to show y'all. Oh, what's this? Look at this.
Parents of a missing 7-month-old child. Those parents are now
This is the house.
charged with his murder.
They laid him down and I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, "Hola," and that's all I remember.
That video per KABC. It was a little more than a week ago.
Okay. A man accused along with his wife of unaliving their son assisted investigators in the search. Again, I do not think anybody was found. There was some other stuff from like there was some other stuff from other people. So let's just keep going. At Missing Emmanuel Haro's vigil, the t-shirts say hatred is a weakness and be a friend, not a bully. Love and prayers to this community that is emotionally invested in their children. Please take a second to say a prayer that the baby is found. He's not been found. There's more pictures of the vigil. In a chilling turn of events, Jake Haro was arrested. We already knew that. That was Friday. A break-in call. Oh my God. JLR investigates. He is on the beat. When does the man sleep? Another break-in call overnight at the home of Rebecca and Jake Haro. Deputies search the property for intruders. The baby has still not been found. Okay, so people are breaking in. Now he hasn't been found, and people are saying, it's because maybe he forgot where the body is. Maybe he's leading them on a wild goose chase. It's very hot out there. There's a lot of wildlife. Who knows what, could have happened. But there's another girl. I'm really trying to find this one girl. She posted a picture of another spot. That looks very, very similar to, the spot that they were searching yesterday. If I can't find it, like by scrolling, I may just look it up on my. Okay, I have it on my phone. So let me just text myself the picture. Yeah, it's a very fast moving case. Yeah, no. And this is another thing too. And that's why I said, Crystal, thank you for saying this. YouTubers are breaking in the house to give paid tours. This is a crime scene and they need to stay away from this house. And this is another reason why I do make it extremely clear. I'm not encouraging anybody to go anywhere. I never encourage anybody to go anywhere. I would not do that. And of course, I would never encourage. Actually, I would call the police. If I saw somebody breaking into the house, I would call the police because it's a crime scene. You can't just tromp through a crime scene. I think that's a crime. I think that's tampering with that. I don't know if anybody's doing that either, by the way. But Crystal said they are. So I don't want to be held in the ranks with anybody doing that. I am saying don't do that. I would never ever do that. I would never encourage or ask anybody to do that, especially in these circumstances. There's just too much at stake. And that's not helpful at all. It contaminates exactly the crime scene. I don't condone that. And if I see somebody doing that, I'm calling the police. And if y'all see somebody doing that, I would encourage you to call the police. So don't get it twisted. I'm not one of those YouTubers. Okay. Okay. Let me get this picture because there was like another spot, and I actually thought this girl had a really good point. Wait a second. I'm just looking for the. Did I not take the picture, girl? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Y'all saw Donald Trump had that makeup on his hands and everybody freaked out. Okay. I'm just looking for this picture. Okay, wait. Some Viking chick tweeted it. So let me pull that account up because she had a good theory. Is that her? Yeah. Okay, let me see. Okay. Thank God. Sorry. This is what you get when it's live. Katie said the crime scene has been released already, but if they needed to go back in there, there would still be a cop posted up guarding it, but also the behavior is still atrocious. Right. Even if it's not an active crime scene, they haven't found the baby yet. So I kind of feel like it kind of is. So look what this lady said. San Diego Shield Maiden, and she gives the latitude and longitude, and she said this is a very similar stretch on Highway 60 to where Jake Haro took investigators today. Okay, you see, it does look just like that. Because earlier, remember, we saw that one lady was standing out by a little gate. It's like a gate just like this, like they don't want you to go back beyond the gate. They were, Jake Haro took investigators to a spot like this. They were by the Gilman Springs exit, but this isn't too far from there. And it looks nearly identical along with a same gate. Now, this person says it's likely he got mixed up or confused. So this might be where the remains are. I don't know if it's likely that he got mixed up or confused. I don't know if it's likely that that's where the remains are, but this does look exactly like that spot. And it does make you start to speculate again because we don't know the truth. We don't know what happened. Is this perhaps a spot they may be able to look? Is this perhaps a spot they may want to look? I don't know why they were over there yesterday. Is it because he was like, oh, it was a mountain with a gate somewhere? I don't know. Jake is local. Yeah, they live in Cabazon. Yeah. So between where they live and Yucaipa, which is where that incident was reported at, you know, they were saying that they were at a football game for their son, and then one of their sons, and then the Rebecca went with the Emmanuel to the Big Five, which is like a sporting goods type of store, to get a mouth guard, and that's where the baby got stolen or kidnapped or whatever. That was in Yucaipa, but they live in Cabazon. And then yesterday they were out by the Badlands, which is like Riverside, I guess. That police report about the daughter is such BS. He's disgusting. And again, it was like not exactly a police report. It was an affidavit in support. An affidavit in support of an arrest warrant. Just want to be very, very careful with the words I use, because a lot of times I have seen in the true crime stuff. And again, this is kind of one of my first, maybe my actual first true crime, like not celebrity, not Hollywood case. Sometimes I just get like, want to look into something else. Or, something will pique my interest. And I don't know how long I'll cover this. There's a lot of coverage going on it, but I do want to kind of like, until Emmanuel is found, I kind of want to stay on top of it because I want to learn myself just how it goes and stuff. And Kobe said he may have buried the baby, which is a good point and brings me to this Twitter account. This guy posted about, okay, here. He posted this 2 days ago. This is another investigator. I've never heard of him before, but I started following him after he's covering this case. Yeah, the judge gave him a slap on the wrist. I think he got like basically work release. I think he spent 1 day in jail and did work release. Yeah, and the daughter like, oh, Crystal. See, I'm telling y'all, the true crime, that y'all are on it. The girlies are on it. It's like the tiniest little words. It's like, oh, okay, maybe you're actually onto something. It's suspected, Crystal said, that Jake turned on his wife before they were even arrested. Lawyer in the interview said alleged kidnapping. If he believed this was truly a kidnapping, wouldn't his own lawyer have said kidnapping? Why would his own lawyer say alleged kidnapping? Jake might be turning on his wife, and it wouldn't be the first freaking time. It wouldn't be the first time, would it? He really, yeah, I don't know who did what. He claims he didn't do it, but he did plead guilty to some type of something, I thought. Where's the money coming from for the lawyer? Who knows? Okay, so this is interesting. This guy, SF Investigates, he purports to be a missing persons private investigator. He said, here's a couple areas on Jake and Rebecca Haro's property that I would like to see a cadaver dog inspect. So he has, I'm not an expert here. Okay. I just started following this guy. There's a spot right here. So I guess he's saying, it looks kind of like different, kind of like dirt situation than the around, the area around it. He's saying, and this is a close-up, more of a close-up. So he's saying maybe we can look there. He's also saying this piques his interest. I don't know this guy from Adam. Okay. He said he's a private missing persons private investigator. And then whatever this is, he's saying he wants to look, they should look under there. Someone said, did you watch the YouTube? This was on like Saturday. Did you watch the YouTube footage last night of some vagrants that ran into the neighbor's yard across the street, started the abandoned RV set the abandoned RV on fire and ran away, and it was all on film. The house in front of the RV was also burned down. I bet the baby was under it. The man said, I was actually there when it happened. Oh, there were multiple arson investigators that sifted through everything after the fire was put out. Vern Gill's gut is saying very near the property or on it. Someone said they agree. So this investigator said agree. They would be too nervous of getting caught burying off property. On property, they have time and can control access, etc. I mean, maybe that's right. Maybe that's not. Obviously, everybody is just speculating. However, that ain't where he was bringing them yesterday. Yesterday they were searching in the Badlands. So that wasn't on their property. That was not on their property. Gabrielita said that guy, SF Investigates, is the one who was super active with that missing girl's case from Hawaii, Hannah or something, who went missing in California. And he was correct on a lot of what he said. Okay. According to Onatira, who is always on the scene. Yes, he's one of the ones on the scene. The fire was just a coincidence. Okay. That's interesting. Are we talking about Jake's current attorney right now? Because I don't know any attorney who would be talking about their client's case on national TV, especially. Oh, yes. And I think this attorney was already representing Jake in that previous case or a previous case. Yeah, this is what I also heard Dana Nicole. And I don't know, again, I don't know these people, y'all. I'm just telling y'all what I heard on the internet. This is a developing story. So I don't know. But all we can really do is go by what people are saying. And in an age where some of these folks are actually on the scene, it's kind of feels better, more reliable to take information from them than somebody who's not on the scene. So again, take with a grain of salt. But Dana, I heard this too. I believe this is the lawyer who represented Jake in the case with his daughter. I heard somewhere he took this case pro bono. This grandma talking about Rebecca would never hurt a baby, had never even met the baby, Florida girl said. Bear Honey said SF Investigates has also been wrong about things too. You don't trust them. Again, yes, please don't take anything anybody says, including me, with for as a fact, y'all. Use your own discernment, use your own eyes, use your own ears, your own senses. I don't know anything. Apparently the attorney is a DJ on the side. Oh my God, girl. Well, if he's taking all these cases pro bono, he got to make money somehow. He also missed with the Kylie Rodney case. See, yeah, that is why I don't make any for sure type of statements. That's why even last night, if y'all, go and look at my video from last night, I even started it off by saying, we don't know anything yet. This is a developing story. There's conflicting stories. Yeah, Jazzy Fizzle. I know. Who said that? Two Frames Media is like the Jazzy Fizzle looking like. Jazzy Bay Production. Thank you so much, Sour Girl, for the $1.99 super chat. Love your channel. I power clean while listening. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for that $1.99. Better get that stuff clean. If you running out of stuff to clean, you can come listen at my house too, girl. You can come listen at my house and power clean that kitchen down there. Just kidding. On the Tira said he gave the little boy whose game they were at. Oh. So all his kids got brain damage, the streets are saying. Okay, on the theater has a new lead. I need to get in touch with him. He has a new lead that the mom was seen throwing bags and bags of baby clothes into the dumpsters behind a thrift store. Bear Honey, shout out to you. BJ, you're the best out there. SF investigates totally sabotage Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, in my opinion. I don't know about that case. He is everywhere. He will have more clients. Right. He'll probably get more clients. And I do wonder, like, would Bruce Rivers take someone like this? Because he is the criminal lawyer. So I want to show y'all this. This is the booking. This is a public record. So we do have his, what is this? Like his booking, what is this called? Somebody help me out. This is from the Riverside County, like the booking record or whatever. So you see his name is spelled Mitchell with a T here. 1993. Here's the case number. Nothing is coming up when I type in the case number, but if anyone is able to pull up the case number, I do think there is a hearing going to be going on, like tomorrow, the arraignment. I don't even know how to even log into the case. So if somebody knows how to do that, I'm having issues with it. As you can see, he was booked the same day as the Rebecca was booked, 8/22. This was Friday on a live. And there was a lot of talk about this malice. What is malice aforethought? Okay. So I will explain that to y'all best of my knowledge. I mean, I did go to law school and learn this, but like we discussed earlier, that was a long time ago. So in order to do a crime, in order to be found guilty of a crime, you have to have the requisite mental state. This is a Latin word, mens rea, mens, MENS, space, rea, REA, mens rea, is the required mental state to commit a certain crime. Like, if you, God forbid, I don't know, we're sleepwalking. Let's say you're sleepwalking outside the front of your house and you walk into the street and you end up crossing the street and it's a red light and there's no walk sign, but you're sleepwalking. You're not awake. You're not aware. You just walk. And then a police comes pull you over and says you're jaywalking. Well, really, you could argue you didn't have the mental state to commit that crime. You're not trying to jaywalk. You were sleeping. You had no control over that. This is like negligent homicide or manslaughter or whatever, where it's like, maybe you didn't mean to hurt somebody or unalive them, but maybe you were speeding. Let's say you were speeding and you hit somebody with your car and then they become unalive. Maybe you were texting, right? Like you definitely committed the crime of like texting while driving. You had the mental state to start texting. You might have even had the mental state to be speeding. But did you have the mental state to know you were about to unalive somebody? Maybe not. Maybe you did. I don't know. I don't know you. But generally, you might imagine somebody can accidentally, like we were playing How Long Can You Hold Your Breath? And he held his breath too long and died. Or we were playing, flag football and I bumped him into his head and he had a eggshell skull and now he died. Like you can't get, somebody wrestling, somebody make someone go in a cardiac arrest because they're wrestling at a, UFC match or something like that. There's ways that you could accidentally cause someone to become unalive, but it's not, you didn't try to do that, right? But then there's like grade A premium murmur, if you know what I mean. Replace that M with the D. Okay. Like capital M, der. And that requires the mens rea of knowing you were about to kill somebody. Like you either pre-planned it, you knew you were about to do it, you did it, you had a reason to do it. Like there's other stuff that a crime requires. It requires you actually did it. It requires harm be done, like for a lot of, in general. And it requires a proximal causation. Like it's not like, oh, I did one thing and then another thing and another thing, and it set off this chain reaction and 5 years later somebody died. No. It has to be close in time, close in proximity. But what these cops are saying with this malice aforethought, some people I've seen saying malice afterthought. It's not afterthought. It's exactly the opposite of an afterthought. Malice aforethought. Before the crime happened, you already had the malice in your mind to commit the act of murder. Or, and that's where this law comes in, you knew that the thing you were doing was very likely to end up killing somebody. So like, let's say somebody has a pew pew and walks into, a place and just pew, 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 just into a place, where there's a lot of people. I'm trying not to give too many details, but you can kind of imagine. You might not have intended to pew pew any one single person in there, right? Like, let's say, remember Thomas Michael Crooks, rest in peace or whatever. He was the so-called assassin of Trump, alleged, attempted assassination. He shot at this Butler, Pennsylvania rally, and he actually unalived some other people. They became unalive. Was it necessarily his aim to unalive those two people in the crowd or whatever? No, probably not. He was trying to probably get Donald Trump, but he should have known opening fire in a crowd could result in somebody else becoming no longer living. And so again, I mean, that guy's dead, so they're not charging him, but he, this malice aforethought with this baby, this isn't just negligence. This isn't just, accidental homicide, manslaughter, right? It's yes, Joyce, exactly. It's the same thought process of knowingly reckless behavior. It's where you know or should have known that your actions were going to result in extreme injury or death. So that's what they're being charged with. Malice aforethought. Y'all didn't just nutritionally neglect, according to these allegations. Now, again, these are just allegations. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And here we go right here, y'all. Tomorrow, August 26th, today's the 25th, at the Riverside Hall of Justice, there will be a court hearing. I believe this should be the arraignment for Jake. Now, is it going to be also for Rebecca? I don't know. Yanni, good point. Or even what if it was an accident? Then you try to cover it up after the fact. That can point toward more than just an accident. You're right. It could. Now, aforethought. Yes. Malice aforethought. Aforethought. It's spelled like this. I'll put it in the. It's like an old timey way of saying it. It's like this, I think. Malice aforethought. Malice aforethought. And it's like, it's like you did something so dangerous, so reckless that you should have known somebody was going to lose their life, basically. Now, did he do it? Did he not? I don't know. Did he do it? Did he not? I don't know. Did she do it? Did she not? I don't know. I imagine tomorrow, whenever we, hear from whoever does go to court, if we get any transcripts, if we get any, is it live streamed? Is it going to be on TV? I don't know any of these. I don't know answers to any of these questions. Oh my God, Joyce. It could be that. I'm not going to put that up on the screen just because I'm trying to, follow the rules and stuff. But Joyce, yes, says something like, well, like, let's say like for allegedly, like, what if he was like in a fit of rage or not? Let's take it away from him because we don't know what he did. But let's say anybody, right? Any parent, any person in charge of a child, they're in a fit of rage. They're having a fit of rage and they pick somebody up or pick something up and throw it directly at or throw somebody somewhere. You should know that a 7-month-old is gonna have a hard time, recovering from that. Or yes, exactly, Joyce. Thank you for that example. Or like, remember that Russian streamer? Again, this happened in Russia, so I don't know what they're doing over there, but I'm thinking of incidents where it's not like a person that's like I'm actually talking about right now. You put somebody outside and it's like below freezing outside and you lock them out and then they can't come back inside and they die. You might get charged with murder. You might get, because you should have known they was going to freeze to death out there. So it's kind of something like that. Crystal's saying a lot of blood found in the living room and the floorboards were removed during Friday's investigation. I'm kind of going back and forth. I see that y'all are having like a side argument about the DJ Academics deposition. I'm kind of going back and forth, Reese and Two Frames Media, between was this like an absolute slay and like a victory lap of the century for Academics, or did he just get set up to get sued and never be able to talk about these people again? That's what I'm wondering. But we're gonna have to see. I am gonna do a reaction thing to some of that. Jake got that 187 charge, but not her. I think she did too. I do think he's going to throw her under the bus. Totally think that he's going to throw her under the bus. And then once she realizes that that's what he's doing, then she will come out and tell what she knows. And once that happens, I believe, and this is based on my experience from watching body camera videos on YouTube, so take it with a grain of salt. According to Elizabeth Vargas, who is that? Police believe dad unalive the baby. I think he did too. She did a jailhouse interview saying he was kidnapped. I know. Okay, well, I have y'all going to go for more Emmanuel Haro coverage right now. If you stay where you are, you will be redirected to Rabbit and Down the Rabbit Hole News. She's going to be doing this. I do have an appointment later today, but I may come back on here live to either do some Milagro stuff, some DJ Academics stuff, or I may not. We're going to have to see. But that's all I have for this one. And shout out to Rabbit. Tell her I sent you. That's all we had for right now. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. I don't know any of these people. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.